Good day again, everyone. This is the last track of the Leadership to Go series. We will be tackling the issue about mentoring. So let's proceed with the presentation. I hope you were able to find the coaching session useful so that you can coach your people to the best of their abilities. Mentoring is somehow similar to coaching, but it involves more on a one-on-one setup. So, mentoring, track 5 of the Leadership to Go session. To proceed, an ancient Buddhist proverb once said, if you light a lamp for someone, it will also brighten your path. It's similar to coaching and mentoring. In mentoring, you also learn from your mentee. So the person you are assisting or mentoring is also a person who can help you, somebody who can also share some insights to the mentor. So it's a two-way street setup. I hope that you still remember this. As a coach, it's similar to a mentor. My objective in coaching or mentoring a person is to provide them the venue, the knowledge to make them uh, capable to proceed from level 1 to level 5. So at first, you guide them to become highly capable individuals. So maybe as rank and files, that's the first step on what to do. Level 2 would be how can they be a contributing team member? Okay. Number 3, how they become a competent manager, someone who organizes people and resources towards the effective and efficient pursuit of predetermined objectives. Number 4 would be how to become an effective leader. It's not only true that you have to be a good manager, but you also have to be an effective leader. And then lastly, according to Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great, level 5 would be an executive, builds enduring greatness through a paradoxical blend of personal humility and professional will. Every time I'm asked to take care of a person, to train them or to mentor them, the objective is really to develop them into a level 5 executive position. Why? Because they can help you help the organization because you cannot do it alone. You need more competent leaders, competent executives to assist you in your daily routines and projects. In my case, this level of leadership became my inspiration in creating the Leadership to Go series. As you noticed, I started with Rise Up for assistant supervisors, Live Up for supervisors, Shape Up for assistant managers, and for senior managers, e-coaching. And now, I'll discuss about e-mentoring. Oops, how come it became a man? From a woman to a man. So that's the surprise. Okay. Uh, the idea is to create a unique value proposition, actually, to all our employees to distinguish ourselves from the others. Imagine if your company is doing this compared to the others. So again, it's all about differentiating yourself with the rest, whether it's personal or organization. Um, when I created this, I learned from my master's class in education, curriculum mapping, curriculum planning, and creating a syllabus for each course. I used to give this for 2 to 3 hours face to face, but now I'm limited to 1 hour for e-learning. Why? Because anything that is more than 1 hour, I don't think a person will learn anymore. So 1 hour is enough already to compress all your teachings so that a person can learn. So I hope that you've learned a lot from the 4 tracks, and now is the last track. So let's define first what is mentoring. The act or process of helping and giving advice to a younger or less experienced person, especially in a job or at school. So kailangan there should be one who is younger and somebody who is more experienced. It may not be in the same field, okay? And some added knowledge. In Greek mythology, mentor was a wise, loyal advisor. Mentor was a friend and advisor of Odysseus and the teacher of his son, Telemachus. Okay, so yan, parang trivia tayo. So what is the purpose of mentoring? A mentor may share with the mentee or protege information about his or her own career path, as well as to provide guidance, motivation, emotional support, and role modeling. A mentor may help with exploring careers, setting goals, developing contacts, and identifying resources. A mentor may help with exploring careers, setting goals, developing contacts, and identifying resources. So when I was just starting with our company, my boss, the owner, asked a consultant to help me, to mentor me. So from an outside consultant, he was the one who gave me a global outlook about the organization, about solutions, about setups. Siya si Sir Pong Ejercito. He came from Unilever, and he was the one who, in a way, helped me become president of our organization. I will always be thankful to him because he gave me a different perspective about leadership. Okay. What was his role before as a mentor, and what is my role now as also as a mentor? He's also a consultant. This is the most obvious role of a mentor can play. Uh, Number two, he's also a counselor. He listens a lot. He asks questions and he listens. Number three, he's a cheerleader. In addition to all the constructive feedback and advice that a mentor can give, they should also provide support and enthusiasm. So normally the consultant is not the one who will decide for you or make decisions for you. He will just listen, clarify questions. If that is what you want, that is the best decision that you can provide, and then supports you, especially when implementing certain procedures. I remember, although I was also fond of reading, he reintroduced to me leadership books to help me in my campaign in our organization regarding changes, regarding having the right culture, philosophies, and principles for the organization. So, yun yung role ng isang mentor. Ano ba yung difference? So, mentoring involves additional tasks which include being a role model. So, sometimes the mentor shares his experiences. What are his winning projects? Also, he provides consulting, brokering. If he cannot provide the answer, he or she uh, refers somebody who can help you. Okay? And then he's an advocate. So sometimes a mentor has to have an advocacy in terms of being a leader. So it helps a lot if the mentor can direct the mentee towards a different direction or a different perspective. Okay. So what are supposed to be the insights when you are mentoring? When you have a problem to solve, talking about it is the good first step. When I became a mentor, I selected my mentees and I provided time for them and time for to listen to them and to have conversations with them. It's good that you have a conversation because you will know where they are and where they want to go. Okay. Potential mentors are all around you once you start looking for them. In fact, you have a lot of supervisors or managers who can be your mentors. So you just have to look around and check who more or less have the same values as you have. Mentoring another person will help you focus on your next steps. So ano ba yung mga kasunod? Many people avoid mentoring because they think it takes a lot of time. It doesn't have to. Well, it involves time, but it doesn't have to be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes when I mentor, we just walk together and then recap what he has learned and follow up some of the things that he or she is supposed to do as a mentee. Then finding someone who matches your values and personality type. Well, when you want to find a mentor, when you want to get a mentor, it's important that you have a connection. So dapat your values and personality type matches. So it's going to be hard if you can't trust your mentor or your mentee. So what happens during the first meeting? Well, it's important that there should be an essence. It's all about sharing heart to heart and finding common values. Yung first meeting nyo, normally, nangangapa pa kayo eh. But it's important that your goal is more or less clear, clarified by the mentor. And then the form is about structure, how we might work together. It involves your scheduling, it involves planning in terms of what are you supposed to do. And then you have to have a mentoring moment. In coaching, I was able to inform you that you should have a coachable moment. This one is mentoring moment. An experience that was so engaging that you lost track of time. So during your conversations, because it's so engaging, you don't, time is of no essence because you are learning a lot from your mentor and mentee as well. So during your first meeting, it's important you have essence, form, and a mentoring moment. And then During the first meeting, you should ask these three questions. First, where are you in your life? Uh, if you're talking to a mentee who is who just got promoted or who just resigned or who is trying to get his new direction, well, you have to ask these three questions. Do you feel uncertain about the direction you're heading? Are you open to learning from others? So these are the basic reflective questions that you have to ask your mentees. Okay. I remember one of my cashiers before, si Miss Adoraline Noe. We can't promote her because of her communication skills. So, with knowing the weakness of that person, it helps you to guide them on what directions to do. So, what I did was I asked her every day to read an English newspaper. And then, before she leaves after work, she should go to my office and tell me in her personal way what did she learn from that article. So it ran for about 3 months to 4 months. And lo and behold, after 6 months, she got promoted. So those are the things that I think you have to consider when you are going to mentor somebody. You have to know their strengths and weaknesses. And how do you mentor? You use the mentor model. So the acronym for mentor, mission, engagement, network, trust, opportunity, review, and renewal. So we're going to go to the first one. The first step in any working relationship is to have a clear mission statement. What is the objective? What is your mission? It can be to improve their performance, improve their communication skills, for them to get promoted. Then create a mission, a purpose for you mentoring partnership, for your mentoring partnership. So for me as a mentor, my mission is really to make sure that that person, the mentee or protege, will be able to polish their skills, improve their training so that they can achieve their maximum potential. So once you get clear on what you really want to do, all kinds of doors will open for you. It's true because when you are able to inspire your mentees, proteges, then your role as a mentor uh, becomes very important in your career. For the mentee, a mere sign of improvement, a mere sign of promotion for them will go a long way. Okay, that's why when Sir Pong Ejercito mentored me, it was it was very challenging at first because I don't know him. But once he consulted me, once we had that mentoring moment, I was able to get a lot of information, a lot of knowledge and skills in in the in on how I handle the organization because he's more experienced than me, and he shared all his um, working experiences in his previous company. So it gives you an idea that a mentor is somebody who really shares his experiences. Okay. It also helped that we have the same um, personality in terms of how we lead people. We also have the same family values. So it helps a lot that we have the same wavelength. Engagement, establishing the relationship. A coach helps you focus on performance and skill development. A mentor helps you focus on longer term issues, things like work life balance and big picture career development. I remember when he asked me what are my difficulties, and I told him I seem to lack the organization of what I'm going to do and what I'm supposed to do in the next 3 or 4 months. So the first thing he asked is, do you have an assistant? Which I didn't have at that time. So true enough, I hired an executive assistant to help me out. Someone who can screen all those people who will ask for my approval. And it helped me in terms of managing my time. It also helped me in terms of whenever whenever I have a presentation, I don't have to do it anymore. I just ask the executive assistant to do it. Okay. Another thing that I created when I was mentored was that I have at the back a bulletin board or a whiteboard covering, it's a calendar covering 6 months. So I already planned out everything 6 months from now. So that's another improvement I learned when it comes to mentoring. Okay. Another thing is that my mentor before asked me to have a driver. So normally I just drive on my own, but he suggested that for me to relax and sleep at times whenever during traffic. So he advised me to get a driver, which I did. Okay. Agree on ways to engage that work with your personalities and schedule. I had no problem with the schedule because my mentor at the time goes with me around the store. So during traffic or during long drives, long trips, we discuss a lot of things. It's good that it's a long. The longer the trip, the better. Why? Because I also learn his personal side, and knowing your mentor or your mentee's personal side can go a long way because you are able to size them up, understand them from the point of view of their background. Okay. I remember when I shared about my stint in McDonald's, my mentor, even if he is not here anymore, he endorsed me to McDonald's Philippines for an employer branding. That's why I have a poster at the back from McDonald's. I was able to help them with their campaign. So those things helps. Ibig sabihin, if you give more information to your mentor or your mentee, the better for them to so that they can help you, regardless whether it's work or on a personal level. Set a regular time to think about where you are and where you want to be. Um, After the assignment of the mentor to you, it's always important to set a regular time to think what happened, where can I improve on, and where do you want to be, so that you'll have a benchmark. You can compare it with your previous week, previous month's performance, or skills development. Then, as a mentor, encourage your mentee to tell the truth about where they are and what they want. At the same time, as a mentor, tell the truth about where you are and what you want. So it's a two-way relationship. It's a two-way street. You also learn from your mentee, and the mentee learns from you. But you have to tell them also your limitations, sometimes your strengths and weaknesses, and what are the things that they can also improve on. In my case, my consultant or mentor um, had issues on how to present to the owners his recommendations, because I've been in the company for 30 years already. I was able to help him out present changes, present defense to the owners, so that the mentor was able to convince the owners. So it's really a two-way street. Learning to network. Well, networking is an old um, approach already, but it still is important. Cultivating productive relationships is a major key to success. Sometimes the mentor is not able to help because he is not an expert on that field. So in my case, my mentor gave me books to read so that I can better improve on my leadership skills. Sometimes he would refer me to another person who is more capable, more skilled in providing the informations that I need. Okay. If you offer an alternative rather than just flat out refuse an idea, you'll do well in life. So it's important that as a mentor, you provide alternatives. Uh, there was one bagger that I handled before. He was the best bagger. But unlike other baggers, he was the first one to always be in the customer service every time I page. So kakaiba itong bagger na to. His name is si Jun Dulay. Si Mr. Jun Dulay is different because hindi pa ako nagpe-page, nasa harapan ko na. So he always stands out. Okay? And his problem at the time was that he wasn't transferred yet to another department. So what I did as his mentor is to expose him to different areas of responsibilities. So he was assigned to supplies, to tenants, to customer service, and as a cashier. So with the confidence, after 6 months, he was transferred to selling department. So you have to offer alternatives and not just refuse it or don't do it. Okay, provide an alternative. Expand your network with that of your mentor and mentee. Mentoring is not only exclusive to your staff, even from outside. So I have a colleague who went to another company and he had some problems. So I would refer or endorse him to another person to mentor him. So your network expands. At the same time, if sometimes your mentee, your protege, is the one who recommends a person or an activity on what you should do. Okay? Like for example, I'm joining marathons and cycling. My mentor at the time was inspired to go into physical activity as well. So even if I'm a protege, I was also able to inspire him to become healthy. Okay? Build trust. Mistakes happen. It's how you handle them that builds trust. Admit your part in any mistake and apologize if appropriate. So sometimes as a mentor, you were not able to give the proper advice. And it's normal. Okay. So you just have to admit your mistakes. Tell the truth, stay connected, and be dependable. So as a mentor, you have to be um, you have to keep in touch with your mentees, your proteges. Um, I mentioned during the coaching session that I had a cashier who eventually became an assistant vice president. And even if I'm not his manager anymore at that time, you are always going to be a mentor to him or her. So even if it's from a personal point of view, sometimes financial advice, you have to give it, you have to help that person. In short, mentoring is forever. It doesn't stop just because the person got promoted or just because that person was under another manager or executive. Networking done right, refire, not retire. Especially for the senior ones, you have to inspire them to refire and not retire. Okay. I held an e-coaching session normally for the millennials and the Gen Z, but I mixed some of them to the baby boomers and the Gen X. That is inspiring to refire. You mix the multi-generational stuff into one group. Well, while there were issues, they were also competitive. So as mentors, regardless of age or generation, you have to do your best to assist your mentees to move from success to significance. What is the relevance? Why are you going to mentor this person? Okay? Whether you're a mentor or a mentee, stay alert and open to the new opportunities that arise through your mentoring experience. More often than not, most of the time, the people transferred to me are those mga pasaway. There was one guy assigned to me in one store who came from DC. His name is Edgar Romero. And he was known to be pasaway. He was known to be a hard-headed employee. So what I did was I asked the people from the branch where he came from what happened. So you have to know the history of the person. And what I did was I didn't use the same approach or tactic in handling the person. Better yet, in controlling the person. So what I did was instead of controlling him, I gave him ownership. So I told him, these are your responsibilities. No, I'm not concerned about the past. I'm concerned about how do you move forward from where you are now to where you want to be. And I think after several years, he got promoted and became a completely different person. It's just that sometimes the mentor's help can change the mindset of a person. I'm not sure why all the pasaways or the hard-headed employees or even those that are have been in the company for a while are always assigned to me. Maybe I have a knack of mentoring them. What's good for the company is good for me. So if you are mentoring an employee and if that person did well, then he's helping the company. So which is also good for me. Why? Because uh, they assign me a lot of employees to mentor. Okay. If we don't help talented young people like you develop your careers within our company, we risk you taking your talent somewhere else. I think that's the good thing about mentoring. You give employees a chance. You give employees the opportunity to change and develop themselves uh, because you have invested in them. So, so why would you allow them to go to another company when that person has the potential to help the organization? Recent studies showed that managers who were also mentors were promoted 6 times more often than those who were not. This is true. When you are able to mentor your staff, it means that management knows that you can handle a lot of people, different kinds of employees. So that is going to be a plus for you. So if there's a promotion comparing you with others, you have the advantage. Why? Because when you are in the higher position, you need people skills. People skills are sometimes neglected, but it's important. It's part of emotional intelligence, your social ability, your social skills. The leadership skills you learn as a mentor can make you more valuable to your employer. So you will have the opportunity to be promoted or get an increase in your salary. Or even if you are not working, if you created your own business, then you have your own network already. In the course of helping him find his passion, I found mine again. So it triggers the mentee and the mentor's passion. Okay. Uh, for example, the cashier who became an assistant vice president, it triggered the passion in me to teach. Okay. Once a person makes the decision to be mentored, they become a partner in unlocking their own potential. So when you are trying to polish them, give them advice, they are actually unlocking their own potential. The benefits of mentoring can go both ways across generations. So I have been mentoring, coaching employees from multiple generations, from um, baby boomers to Gen X to Gen Z to Gen Y. And clearly shows that everyone can learn from one another. I happen to come across this two words, reverse mentoring, meaning the younger generations are the ones mentoring the old generation, especially in technology, especially with the online platform. I learned a lot from my classmates in my master's course in education. They were the younger ones. I learned from them about educational technology. I learned from them how to use technology to my advantage. I learned from them Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I never had a Facebook before, but since the assignment is given via Facebook, I have no choice. So those are some of the benefits when you mentor multi-generational staff. Then review and renewal. You'll never get where you want to go if you don't create a mission statement. So sa renewal and review, you need to evaluate your mission statement. And you'll never know you've arrived if you don't do regular reviews. So you should always plan what you're going to work and work on your plan. If you love what you're doing, you'll never have to work in a day in your life. It's true. I sometimes the joy of mentoring somebody, it takes it takes time, but you don't care about time anymore because you can see the growth of that person. Schedule a regular time to review progress and renew your mentoring partnership. So from time to time, you invite your mentee or your mentor for lunch or dinner, go out and review and renew your partnership. There are several types of mentoring, yung peer-to-peer, adult to adolescent, apprentice to master, cross-generational mentoring within the company. So new hire mentoring, the concept is simple. Pair up a new hire with an old one and watch the new hire learn and grow. Peer-to-peer mentoring in the company context, please, these mentoring programs pair peers within an organization to mentor each other. So that's a common practice. Cross-generational, uh, since majority of our employees are already Gen Y and Gen Z, the baby boomers are already retiring, the Gen X are preparing to retire. So you need this kind of mentoring. So it can be cross-generational or reverse mentoring. Adult to adolescent mentoring. Organizations pair adults with youth to give them role models and positive guidance. Um, there was one selling clerk that I mentored, and he lacks the warehouse skills. So I partnered him to a senior warehouse man so that that person can eventually learn something about warehousing. Okay. Mentoring never ends. A mentor for one phase of your life may not be the person you need at another point. So it happens. No? Sometimes the person got transferred. Sometimes that person resigned and went to another company. So or she will have another mentor. So it doesn't end. The same thing with you. You're done with your mentoring. Another person comes in and requires your mentoring. So to summarize, the mentor model is about your mission, your engagement, your network, your trust, the opportunity given to you, and lastly, to review and renew your mission statement. So very simple acronyms for mentor. So how do you start creating a mentoring program in your organization? Start with your HR department. Who among the employees needs mentoring? Who among the leaders can be a mentor? Then teach mentors and mentees the mentor model. Establish essential guidelines. So the simplest way is a body-body system. You assign that person to a particular manager or executive so that that person can learn the ropes of the department, the store, the organization. So you need checklists to make sure that you're successful as a mentor. To be a successful mentor, you need to have time, energy, willingness, accurate info to share, as well as genuine care. Uh, Mentoring is not always going to be a bed of roses. Sometimes the mentee will commit mistakes, sometimes to the extent that he will be suspended or given a written warning or sanction. Successful mentors understand they are no smarter, better, or more important than anyone else. They understand their role as a helper. So mentors knows their limitations. That's why sometimes you refer them to another mentor in a specific skill. Okay? Then mentors help people understand their work not as tasks but as contributions to a process to deliver an output others will value. So kailangan there's of value to what are you going to mentor the mentee. Okay? Normally, it's about improving performance, helping the company, helping the organization. Okay? So my references are the 1 minute mentoring, effective coaching and mentoring. I always read these books every time I have mentors. I also ask the mentees to read some of my books so that they are aware of what to do. Normally, as a mentor, I provide them books to read, articles to read as a guide, and then ask them what did they learn from that article. Um, in my 30 years in the company, I've handled a lot of people already. Um, some great, some good, some not so good, some worst, some were given second chances. And that is the most fulfilling when you are able to inspire them or convert them to a great employee, a great leader, a great mentee to become a great mentor. Up to now, even if some of my staffs are abroad or working outside the company, I'm happy that they were able to learn something from me, being a mentor, and they in turn become mentor themselves. So again, if you want to add more stores, you lead, you lead followers. But if you want to multiply your growth, you lead leaders, you lead mentors. The more mentors you have means that your organization is has a leadership pipeline that even if no one is not around, the organization can perform well, better than expected. So because talent is getting scarce, okay? Pahirap kumuha ng talent. So it's better that we provide avenues, provide trainings to our people so that in turn they can mature, develop, and stay with the company. There are three ways actually to get people. One is to buy talent. Second is to borrow talent. And third one is to build talent. So building talent is the most effective but the longest because you have to train from within. Okay. Buying talent is the most is the easiest, but it's the most expensive. Borrowing is also good, but it's just outsourcing. Okay, they're not really. Sometimes when you outsource, there's no ownership. So the best I think at this particular time is to build your own people so that that organization can establish their own culture, philosophies, and principles. So with that, I hope you learned a lot from this session. Thank you very much and see you in our next learning session. Thank you.